Davidson Fatboy 114 Milwaukee 8 in Blackjack Metallic. Can't get enough of this bad boy. Hey everybody, how are things out there in YouTube land? I know here it's starting to be fall and winter is coming quickly. It's about 7 degrees outside and it is windy. We're looking at a mix of rain and snow over the night into tomorrow, so it's not good, but better get used to it because it's going to get a whole lot worse. So today's video, I took the idea from a comment on another video, and that person asked me to make a video explaining why the Fatboy. Why do I ride a Harley Davidson Fatboy? So I thought, all right, well, I'll let you know. I'll tell you why, you know. And to start our story, I think you should get yourself a little drinky and relax, settle in, because it's going to be story time today. So to start our story, we've got to go back about 30 years, back to 1991. And the first reason I first became enamored with the Fatboy, and that is because of this. Now that was, of course, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the summer blockbuster that came out in 1991. Now, in 91, I was 13 years old, and I remember when those trailers came out on TV, and I just could not wait to go see that movie. And when Arnold came out of that bar around the start of the movie, all dressed in leather, and he got on that Fatboy and he tore out of there, I was like, yes. I was like, that was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And I must have watched that movie hundreds of times over the next couple years, and I read books on it, and that's how I found out it was a Harley Davidson Fatboy. And I said to myself, if you ever have the money, that is what you're going to buy, because at that moment it became my dream bike. Now, moving on from there, then we fast forward about 11 years from there, and it's the fall of 2002. Now, the year before, in the spring of 2001, I had bought my first Harley Davidson, which was a 1993 883 Sportster. And I rode it through the summer of 2001, through the summer of 2002, so I'd had a couple riding seasons on it, and I figured, okay, I feel comfortable enough to get a big twin now. It's time to upgrade. And at the time, I had a good job, and I had enough money put away that I could finally go out and get that Fatboy. Now, you might think that I would go out and I would buy just the regular black Harley Davidson, the same as the Terminator had. But back in the day, I was actually a very big professional wrestling fan. I'm not really anymore, but I was back then, the late 90s, early 2000s. It was very popular, and my favorite wrestler was The Undertaker. And at the time, he was doing kind of a biker gimmick, and he would ride to the ring on a motorcycle. And one of the bikes he rode was a white bike. Now, I always thought that was cool, someone would ride a white bike, because around here, I didn't see a lot of light colored bikes, let alone white. Basically, everybody had a black bike or a dark colored bike, like a dark purple or something like that. You didn't see a whole lot of white bikes. So I thought what I would do was I would combine the Terminator with the Undertaker, and I would get a white Fatboy. So I called up Yorkton Harley Davidson, who actually just shut their doors, unfortunately, RIP, and they had one on the showroom floor. So the next weekend, me and a buddy got in the truck, grabbed a trailer, rode up to Yorkton, and I bought it right off the showroom floor. It was my first ever Fatboy, first ever brand new motorcycle, and it was a 2002 pearl white twin cam 88 Harley Davidson carbureted now Fatboy. So now, the next question you might be asking yourself is, well, why did you keep on riding them? So, I've had 4 Fatboys now. I had that 2002. I had a 1995 80-inch Evo Fatboy. I had a 2013 Fatboy Low with the 103 twin cam. And then, of course, the 2021 Fatboy with the 114 Milwaukee 8. There's a few reasons why I still ride one. The first reason is the look. Now, to me, the Fatboy is one of, if not the best looking Harley that Harley makes. Now, that's just personal opinion, of course, but when I look at that bike, I see it looks to me like a real mean machine. You know, it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It's kind of stripped down. It's big. It's wide. I love the lines of it. It's just got that iconic styling, and that goes for both the previous model styling as well as the new model styling, which I actually very much love. And there's just things about the Fatboy that just make it iconically a Fatboy. For example, just the solid wheels, for example. I mean, when you look at that, you don't mistake that for any other bike. Now, the other thing with the look of the Fatboy is that it is a soft tail, and I like the look of soft tails. Soft tails have that hardtail look, but of course have the hidden back suspension. So I've never been a big fan of the bikes that have the suspension, the shocks on the outside. Again, that's personal preference, but that's just another reason why I gravitate towards the Fatboy other than other bikes. Now, another reason is the feel of riding the bike. I feel like it's a more powerful bike when I'm on it for whatever reason. It's wider, it feels more comfortable to me. Of course, I've ridden other bikes before, and for me, it just feels right. That's the best way I can put it. Riding some other bikes, I did at one time. I was riding a friend of mine's Dyna, and this is quite a few years ago, and I remember thinking, like, it feels like I'm riding a 2x4 down the road. And again, personal preference, not saying anything bad about Dynas, but to me that's just kind of how it felt. But on the Fatboy, I felt more comfortable. It felt more, I don't know, luxurious maybe, but it felt like a way better ride than something like a Dyna. And with the new suspension that they have on these new models, it's the smoothest ride that I've had on a Harley, and I really appreciate that with the Fatboy. Now, another big reason I like the Fatboy is based on the terrain that I ride around in. Around Saskatchewan here in Canada, we're right basically in the middle of the country, and we're in what they call the prairies. There's a lot of farmland here. It's pretty flat around here. Now, if you were to ride about 2 or 3 hours north, it gets pretty forested. The rest of Saskatchewan's all basically forest, and if you drive about 8 hours, you'll probably run out of road. But that is one of the reasons why I ride the Fatboy, because it is flat and a lot of the roads are straight. And one of the big things people will point to with the Fatboy that they don't like is the handling, because of the bigger tires, which is another reason why I like the Fatboy, because it's almost got that steamroller. It just goes over everything. So with the roads being straight, I don't have to worry as much about the handling. There's not a lot of, slaloming down, a snake pit through the mountains or anything like that. It's way better for the roads I'm riding on. I don't need anything that needs to be super nimble and handling, and I just love the way it steamrolls over everything. Now, one of the last reasons that I chose a Fatboy is because it is a cruiser. It is basically more or less the top of the line cruiser that Harley Davidson comes out with. And I myself at heart am a cruiser. I am not one of those iron butt guys that just rides thousands and thousands of miles in a day. In the last so many years, I haven't been taking a lot of long trips. If I do go on a trip, it's generally an overnight type thing. But you can tour on a Fatboy. You throw a couple saddlebags and a windshield on a Fatboy and you can go anywhere. I've ridden out to the west coast of BC, through the Rocky Mountains. I've gone east into Ontario. I've definitely toured on the bike, and you can do that. But for the most part, it's a cruiser. And I like to cruise. Like I say, I'm not one of these super long distance guys. I just like to get on, ride for a while, take a break, whatever, ride for a while, take a break. That's just how I am. That's just how I ride, and for the way I ride, the Fatboy is just perfect for me. So that's basically it, folks. That's the origin of how I got into riding and buying a Fatboy, and why I still ride one today. I plan to keep on riding and buying Fatboys until it gets to the point where, I get too old or too weak and I can't hold a regular bike up again. And then I'll probably end up doing something like a three-wheeler maybe. But for the time being, I'm sticking with the bad boy, and that's just how it is. So I hope you all enjoyed story time. Hope you had a good little drink while we're doing it. If you did, like the video, subscribe, helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you later.